One of the most interesting and sought after players in the NFL could possibly be looking for a new job soon, as the New Orleans Saints are reportedly moving on from Taysom Hill. And initial reactions to this as a fan, it sucks. It really does, because we know that Taysom Hill has been that Swiss Army knife, has been that joker that a lot of people like to talk about in the league when it comes to the offense. And Sean Payton, plucking him from the Green Bay Packers special teams unit, having Taysom play on special teams for a little bit. I think he even ran a kickoff back, and then putting him into the system, having him play quarterback for a couple games while Drew Brees was out, having him, take QB powers and QB sweeps around the edge and through some of the gaps in the O-line, having him play tight end, having him play fullback. Taysom Hill has almost made positionless football a thing because of his talents that he's been able to have. But in the same breath, when New Orleans Saints fans talk about getting out of the Sean Payton era, getting out of the Drew Brees era, I know that Kellen Moore would like to utilize a guy like Taysom Hill because, again, he's one of the most interesting and will be a sought-after player. Clearly, we already know that the Denver Broncos want to sign him because Sean Payton loves building those lasting relationships. But he might not see Taysom Hill as a point in his offense. I mean, this is a fresh scrape. This is a completely new regime, new head coach, new OC, new DC, new director of sports science, who's hopefully going to keep us healthier. TJ Paganetti comes over. We've got some guys, again, Kyle Wilbur. We've got new, fresh faces coming in. We just hired Terry Joseph, who was the Texas defensive backs coach, which I think is going to be a great hire there as well. And when you talk about him coming off of a major injury at an old age, it's tough to see. Taysom Hill is 34 years old. He's going to turn 35 on August 23rd. And, when you tear an ACL in your mid-30s with as physical as Taysom is, I mean, he's banging into players, banging off players, play in and play out. So if you believe that Taysom can come back and be at least 75 to 85% of what he was, which Taysom doesn't seem like he can be a 75 to 85% player. It seems like he's 110% every snap. Are you confident that he's able to deliver that in your offense? Because the cap savings of, if the Saints do, decide to move off of him, I had the numbers right here. Let me see. Hold on real quick. Taysom Hill cut numbers. I guess that would be the best way to Google it. Yeah. Okay. So the cap savings for cutting Taysom Hill from the Saints in 2025 would obviously depend on when the cut is made. If it's a pre-June 1 cut, the Saints would only save about $500,000 in cap space. But if they cut him post-June 1, or, I guess if they could trade him, which he is on a very weird contract at the moment. He is on a 4-year, $40 million contract that he did sign back in 2021. It was weird that Sean Payton kind of signed him to a big quarterback contract at the time, but I think they were just kind of trying to move money around. And not that Sean Payton, signed him to that, but you guys understand what I'm saying. And of course, the Saints are expected to part ways with Taysom, like I said, in 2025 to free up that salary cap space. He just doesn't meet the contractual and financial needs that the Saints are, they've been looking at it for years. They've been buying on credit for years, and you've been kicking that can down the road. And now you understand that the bill is due, and Taysom Hill is older, and he is kind of expensive for his position, and he has torn an ACL. I would hate to see Taysom go, because it's like Taysom Hill has really embodied the character of the New Orleans Saints. And Sean Payton immediately found a spot for him. I mean, pulling a guy off special teams to come in and be a problem, a rushing problem, a tight end receiving problem. I'm not saying a threat, but he was a problem because you never knew what he was going to do. The trickery was kind of unlimited with Taysom, because he could even get out there, and spin it in a really well way. And, fans like that. The good thing about the Saints is they play in the cupcake division. It's up for grabs this year. Yeah, no doubt about it. But as long as Mickey Loomis is still with us, man, it makes me nervous as hell to really see what's going to happen. And I don't even know if the Saints could replace Taysom Hill. I really don't, because again, unless you go and get one of these two-way players that's in the NFL right now, and no, I'm not or in college right now. No, I'm not talking about a Travis Hunter, because he's either a receiver or a DB. There's another gentleman. I can't remember his name or the school that he's at, but people have kind of been comparing him to Taysom Hill as well. I think the only viable replacement for Taysom Hill would be a Deebo Samuel, because he can be a receiving threat and he can be a running back threat as well. End arounds. Now, he's not going to take the snap as a quarterback. He's not going to run a route off of a tight end, hand in the dirt. So as I begin to explain that, I don't think the Saints could replace Taysom Hill. but replacing the horrendous offensive calling that was present over the last couple of years between Pete Carmichael, Clint Kubiak really didn't get a fair roll at it at all. Now he's with the Seattle Seahawks. This is just going to be a new design of the New Orleans Saints offensive scheme to where Taysom Hill is more than likely not going to be a part of it. It's going to suck. It's going to sting. It's going to hurt, but it doesn't mean that the Saints can't move on to bigger and better things here.
Hey, it's AJL here. Appreciate you sticking to the end of the video here on YouTube. You could have chose any other show, but you chose my video, and for that, I'm very grateful. If you haven't already, please make sure to like and subscribe to the channel. Follow me on social media. Hit the bell on the channel so you never miss a post. Check me out on all social media platforms. Right here, you'll find a chance to subscribe to the show, a related video, and a playlist. See you guys in the next one.